Like, I mean, it's great. I'm loving it. It's amazing to me that just by replacing those shitty voices for us, it makes it
that game is really cool too.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I could not stomach that game for more than 10 minutes. But once I got into the comfort level, hearing those Japanese voice actors, hearing the Naruto that I'm used to hearing the Kakashi that I'm used to hearing, suddenly I was like, fuck yeah. Not only that, but the story, the game story follows the first 88 episodes to a T. And it's like the best of Naruto because it takes out all of the bullshit. So for example, you know, like a fight will take 5 episodes. Well, obviously it becomes a portion of the game, but then they actually like draw from the videos of the anime and show you the good stuff instead of all the filler crap. You know, it's just, it's so, I can't wait to review it. It's really.
Do you think that your review would have been tainted if there was no Japanese?
Absolutely, dude. I mean, it's not very often, Camera, where a game sound will literally turn me away. But I guess it's the same thing as, you know, if I read the Harry Potter books religiously, maybe I'm not a huge fan of the movie because I'm such a religious Harry Potter fan that I know what they've left out of the movies. You know, I know that they changed this. Same thing with Lord of the Rings. You know, I hated some of the stuff that they did to Lord of the Rings. Still a good product, but I just, you know, I was almost like a purist. It's the same sort of thing. If you were a fan subber, if you watch the fan subs of Naruto, once you put the Japanese language pack on, it's going to suddenly be like, oh my fucking God, this game is a AAA fucking great title.
Do you guys ever remember seeing the Akira that came out in theaters a few years ago? And they did all new voices for it, and it was like one of the greatest cartoons of all time, and I absolutely cannot stand to watch the DVD I bought because of the new voices on it. It ruins it.
You gotta have the Japanese.
Now, you're talking about even a redub of the American voices,
yeah,
right?
they redubbed the American because you grow up hearing something, and then when they change it, it ruins it.
And in terms of dubbing, even the original English dub of Akira was still good. It
was awesome.
It wasn't great, but at least it was still good. Leonardo.
It had Leonardo from the Turtles in it. It was awesome.
He's Tetsuo.
I still prefer the Japanese, though.
I do too, but I know what Forrest is talking about. You sort of like are comfortable with those guys. It would be like if you just took The Matrix and then fucking voiced over the whole movie with like, you know, teen idols. Would it be the same movie? Probably not. So, loving it. It's a lot of fun, even though it is a lot of collecting, and for whatever reason, it's you know.
What percentage of your time is taken up by this game?
I don't know.
Over the weekend.
Oh, I was definitely playing more Call of Duty than any other game, and Uncharted. But you know, there's something to be said about that because the game is sort of Grand Theft Auto-ish. There's a lot of collection, there's a lot of submissions, and there's like the plot advancement missions.
Dude, it's gotten awesome reviews.
Dude, I'm not surprised because it is awesome, and I am going to review it upcoming here. I want to finish it. But
wait,
yeah,
Suma has something to say.
What?
He wants to say, move along. Get away from this story. That's what he wants to say.
Guess what? You can tell Suma. Go ahead and type this to him right now.
Okay. What is it?
Go, G-O.
Okay.
Fuck, F-U-C-K.
Okay. Okay.
Yourself. But hold on. Yourself. Instead of typing out yourself, type you are self.
Okay. Nice. There you go.
Damn, you're creative, dude.
Owned.
All right. Moving on now. So here's the story. Kotaku jumps on the old fucking news train. Destructoid makes sure they let everyone know that Kotaku jumped on the old fucking news train. And me, well, I think they're both wrong. So what is it all about? It's about the R4, the Revolution 4. It is a small cart technology that allows you to jam-pack a micro SD card full of Nintendo DS ROMs and then play them to your heart's content. Now, Kotaku reported that the R4 is all over Japan right now and that, quote, Nintendo is keeping a close eye on them. Well, the fact of the matter is that the R4 has been available since the days of the Fat DS, so this is definitely OFN and something that Detoid was right about. But the fact of the matter is that the R4, I said the fact of the matter twice, at the end of the day, how about that one, Cameron? At the end of the day, the R4 is not going to disable the already crippling numbers of fucking Nintendo DSs that are out in the wild. If you haven't you know, or if you've forgotten, it brings money.
Did you see 1 out of every 6, they said in that article? 1 out of every 6 people has a DS. That blows me away.
1 out of every 6.
In Japan?
Now,
yes.
Out of all those people, probably 1 out of every 150,000 has an R4. All right? So realistically, is it that big of a threat? Basically, this is the same argument that was brought up when people found out that you could do the swap disc trick on the original PSX. You know, while it certainly did increase my library, which was mostly like, you know, imports, very hard to get imports, it did not affect the long-term success of the machine. You know, even when titles were available easily on the net, the PlayStation still flourished. Even in PS2, it still flourished. No problem. And, you know, I personally had to mail order a lot of pirated games back in the day because they weren't around on the net yet. So while the R4 is a pretty devastating device in the grand scheme of things, it's no different than the custom firmwares that you could get for the PSP, a mod chip that you could install on your PS2 or your Xbox, or an ISO that you could download off of the internet. So while the device is cool, don't forget that the Nintendo DS does print money, and no amount of piracy will ever disable this healthy handheld. And I don't know what you think, Forrest. I mean,
did I tell you my R4 story?
No, please tell us.
I was in Colorado and they had like it's just like a swap meet.
Right.
So I go to it and there's this guy selling Nintendo games and he has an R4. And I walk up to him and I'm like, you know, how much for this R4? And he tells me $200.
Oh my God,
dude.
So I'm thinking the guy's on crack. You know, he's quoted me something wrong. So I tell him no and walk away, and I send my wife. I'm like, you know, maybe a pretty thing will be able to get a better price. He tells her $250. So we both walk up there. She tells me that he says $250, and I ask him, I'm like, you know, I'm just curious to know why they're so expensive because I've seen them online. He's like, oh, well, this comes with 50 DS games on it. They were like selling pirated R4s right there out in the open, and it blew me away. I wanted to bust them right then and there because they would sell to you for $50.
Like, first off, no one's going to buy that for $200. Second of all, I don't believe that your average DS owner is even smart enough to be able to do that. You know,
most of them are under 10. They're just learning what the internet even is.
Right. So if you really want to get one, you can find them online for about $50. So there's nothing wrong with try before you buy, guys. There's nothing wrong with it. So, although the moral of your story for us is that the guy at the swap meet was obviously gay.
He was gay. Did you see the ads, though? You need to point out the Japanese ads for it.
Oh,
that
yeah.
said that we are selling it but won't discuss it.
Right. We are selling the R4. However, we will give no support. You know, it's like the same thing for like torrent sites and, you know, PSX, or what is that one site that we go to? Max Console, you know. They talk about it, but you can't go there and ask questions. It's against the rules. Figure it out your damn self. All right, let's